Have you ever had any like slip down the tree type of issues? Anything like that?
Yeah, I almost died. I hate that guy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Eventually,
you want
you'll
me to
have a
cut
sales
that
rep
out
you
of the
don't want to do
pod?
with.
I don't care. He knows it.
You've had a bunch of experience saddle hunting. Josh had never been in one. But like, tell us a little bit about your experience, what you run. Not appropriate. All of this is getting cut. Take your Aquafina and put that on the ground. That one's fine.
That you saved a snippet in the back, or is that the hook?
Well, I'm sure we'll come up with something better, especially if we're going to shit talk Ultraview. Then we'll.
I ain't gonna shit talk him.
You are. You better if you don't.
I'm sorry. We're here.
Yeah, you're already.
Sorry.
We just had this conversation, Scott.
I told you I'm gonna be all over the place.
Don't be all over the place. So listen, we're just going to talk. And then I'll intro the video at a certain point because I don't want you to be nervous or uncomfortable because you seem like a shy fella based on all the videos that I've watched. You seem like a very shy dude. What? All right. What do you, to start it out, what are you drinking?
This is called Crown Apple, you uncultured swine. Have you never heard of it? The liquor store is right down the road. If you mix it with a little bit of, where'd it go? The Sprite.
Behind you, I think. Yeah.
And a lot of ice. You do a 50-50. I don't know why I'm looking at the camera.
You can look at anything.
You do a 50-50 talking to Jesus. 50-50 mix, and you get adult apple juice. It's a very refreshing summertime beverage.
So you can pick that up at your local liquor store. It's $4.99 for that size.
It's actually quite expensive. Yeah, believe it or not, it is.
Yeah,
That's a
giant
$50 bottle.
That's not $50 for that. That's like 7 gallons. That's a ton of alcohol.
That's
a half gallon.
Slow Tuesday.
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
I am having, well, in honor of Scott. Now, granted, I went with Sprite with 0 sugar, but
So I'm the fat.
he likes apples. I like everything flavored peach for some reason. I don't know why. I love peaches. I love the taste of a peach. It's so good. And I can't ever get enough of it.
Okay. All right. I get the reference.
He's
I get
becoming
the
more and
reference.
more
I get the
Southern every
reference
time he
from the
comes
movie.
down here.
I know. Before you know it, he's going to sound like you. I am drinking.
I do catch myself if I'm here for more than a week, putting a
give
little y'all in it.
Give a little bit of draw. Y'all is a
I
very
learned there's
handy
more than
word.
one holler today.
Yeah.
I thought there was only one. I got very surprised.
You did.
Holler.
I'm drinking coffee. By the way, thank you for watching. This is the Podium Archer podcast hosted on my channel for some reason. Follow me at Brandon McDonald _archery on Instagram. Follow Josh at Podium Archer on Instagram. Like and subscribe to this. This podcast will be available on all the platforms. What's the thing that you say about all the audio
Please leave
platforms?
a review
Leave a
on
review.
the audio platforms. It really helps a lot. It's about the only way to track whether or not people are really watching to the public. We can see our analytics, but the public really can't. So if you like this or you enjoy this or you want to see more of this, please leave a review. I would appreciate it. Any audio platform, most of them have the option.
Brandon McDonald.
I do think that you should be required to try the beverage, actually, since, you're
I'll try that one.
Yeah.
But I don't want to
It's grown-up apple juice.
I don't have
It
a
is
problem
good.
liking alcohol.
I've
That's
had it
not
before.
my
It is
issue.
good.
My issue is not that I don't
I know
like
you're trying
it.
to be a good boy and get into shape for your little mule deer hunty thing.
I can smell it from hearing it. You're exactly right. It smells like adult apple juice. That's exactly
it's
what it smells
terribly
like.
delicious. That's yeah. Oh, that coffee tastes like crap now, don't it?
Yeah, I just need the wake up juice. That's the problem.
Yeah,
damn, that is
right?
very good.
Yeah, it's
So
trouble.
anytime, a lot of people don't know this, anytime I'm filming content on my porch, shoot my bows, this is typically what I'm sipping on. It's not only adult apple juice, it's also aiming fluid.
Yes, you run the right pace. It's crazy how steady you are.
Yeah, no, that makes
No,
sense.
it's
You're
when
nice
you're
and
having too
relaxed.
much fun with your buddies and then you speed it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you stop caring so much about the aim and it just starts going everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we actually just got back from Montana TAC and James was on 2 hours of sleep because they had flown in the night before and went and shot a course. I went and shot a course with Dan Bodie, a couple other people, and then met at the restaurant / bar, had several drinks waiting to be able to go up later. And I don't know how he stayed with it, but we get up there and he's like 5. He had past that point. I was riding it just nice. It was like 12, 12, 12, 10, 12, 12. I'm like, yeah, but by like target 8 or 9, I was like, goddamn, I need a drink. We didn't have one.
We encourage people to drink while they're hunting, actually. You just got to get right in that zone. You carry a flask with you at all times of the adult.
If you keep it 1.5 an hour, it's steady.
Oh, yeah.
Like it really is.
Wait till you try going up the tree with that tethered saddle.
Yeah, that sounds terrible. That's terrifying.
All right, so that is actually one of the first things I want to talk about after I do the intro. We're sitting here with a guest.
We are.
All right, so give us a little intro about Scotty, and then Scotty, you're going to tell a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to talk about tethered and what we just did.
Well, Scotty is a big TikToker. has his own shop, has his own online store. And I have a direct competitor technically sitting in here because I think there's plenty of room for everybody.
No, we're going to kill him after this.
When he disappears after this, you're probably going to know why.
Broadhead testing on live subjects.
There you go. But we met a little while ago and hit it off pretty good. Seemed like a really good dude. Offered to come up and like, hey, come on up. Let's chat. Let's do some shooting. Let's have a couple drinks and get to know each other a little better.
It actually all started with seltzers.
Oh, this is correct.
Yep.
Yes, you were mocking the seltzers, if I remember correctly.
Yep. Well, y'all were talking about my bow.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. I do love to flip him shit about his primes. It is fun.
All right. Yeah, Scotty, give us a little rundown. Who are you? What do you do?
What he said, we got a shop out in Commerce, Georgia. I've been there for roughly 10 years. I got 3 different names depending on how old you are and which platform you follow me on. It's either Bow Talk on TikTok, Scot Evans on Facebook, or Bow Boy on YouTube and Instagram. And yeah, I don't know why. Well, the Bow Talk name was an accident, kind of like my birth. It kind of blew up, and now I'm stuck with it. And
yeah, I understand that feeling.
Yeah. Oh, you too?
Yeah, mine was not on purpose.
Yeah. Well, you or your kids?
Oh, my
you're
name.
talking about your channel.
My name, yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
I thought we were getting deep there for a minute.
He's like, yeah, my children,
like,
they were
my
actually.
man, we're really connected here.
Deeply
yeah, right. Yeah, no, I understand getting a name that you didn't intend to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend Josh Jones.
Yeah, that's what I tell the kids.
Yeah, that's what I've been telling my Southern Baptist mother.
Yeah, as you should.
She's like, you want to hang out with that MFJJ guy? I'm like, just Josh, mother.
It's okay. And your shop's called Fins and Feathers Outdoors, is that correct?
Close. That's a taxidermist 8 miles away. Feathers and Antlers
Feathers
Outdoors.
and Antlers.
Yep.
Sorry.
Good job, buddy.
I know.
okay.
I got to get something wrong with every guest.
You do.
100%. I do.
Honestly, I think you are
100%.
batting 1,000 right now.
He
Hold
owes
on.
me that
It's
because
Feathers and Antlers.
Feathers and Antlers.
Okay, I am very sorry. I think I've told like 6 people it's called the other.
What's the website?
Feathersandantlersoutdoors.com.
Feathersandantlersoutdoors.com. Discount code BMAC for 10% off. I'm just kidding. No,
And unlike Podium Archery, only $45 gets you free freight.
Hey, watch yourself. I'll move it. I've actually thought about going free, period. I have. It's terrifying because if somebody has a knock, you're losing your shorts. But
Well, it's so easy to hit that $45 mark with everything. I mean, you've probably got a lot more small stuff than I do now that I think about that.
it's not worth like chasing it all the way down.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it.
But his is like the 5th or 6th one I've seen of advertising, like under $50 for free freight. Nobody that I can recall before I started doing 99 and up is free. Did I ever hear it advertised?
I was about to ask what yours was. I know a lot. I know a lot that's 200 and up, but that doesn't. I mean, because a lot of your lower price point items like hats, pretty good margins.
Yeah.
I mean,
So shipping a hat's not going to be like you're not losing money.
and it's light. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, one little package isn't terrible. If you can keep that under the 4 ounces or even 8 ounces, isn't bad.
This is the archery content that people want. All right.
Yeah, it is.
Let's talk about this is the entrepreneur content that people want. Honestly, these are the types of discussions when the cameras aren't on that we're probably going to have the rest of the day.
Sure.
Because this is the stuff that like actually affects everybody here's life, except me. I just sell houses and stuff. So let's talk about tethered. So Scotty, you've had a bunch of experience saddle hunting. Josh had never been in one, but like tell us a little bit about your experience, what you run, like advantages, disadvantages. I feel like the saddle thing kind of came on the scene and it's getting more and more and more popular every single year. So give us a little rundown.
100%. I mean, tethered's kind of. I've said it before in other videos. Tethered's not necessarily the original saddle company. There's definitely been other companies before them, but they kind of made saddle hunting cool, so to speak. And they also have been very innovative in trying to make a saddle hunter more comfortable, more accessible. And they used to not do it as much. Now they're actually hitting different price points to get people into saddle hunting. And my saddle setup's the tethered Ultra Lock, which we looked at that today. I mean, it's almost unarguably one of the most comfortable saddles out there. I mean, I've been doing it for 2.5 years, and for the first year, every time I went out there, I was like, okay, this could be better. Do they offer it? And typically they did. Like talking about the Prusik knot versus a ropeman. I mean, that's one of the biggest things right there that you'll see. The more you saddle hunt, the more you're like, okay, if you don't already start out with a ropeman, a sender, you're going to eventually. Otherwise, you're not going to like it as much.
So what you're talking about is basically the attachment method, and the way that you can kind of cinch yourself up and down is either using a Prusik knot, which typically takes 2 hands to adjust, or they have like a mechanical, it's like a rock climbing accessory basically, where you can literally just kind of grab the end of the rope with one hand, pull that thing, and then it's tight.
Yep.
Or you can basically relieve pressure and then lower yourself down a little bit.
Yep.
And 100%. I saddle hunted once and then changed from the Prusik nuts. I was like, this is terrible.
Yeah, I did the exact same thing. I was pouring sweat one September day in Georgia, and I was just trying to figure out ways to make myself more accessible for going up and down the tree, and that was one of the first things I noticed. I was like, you know what? Especially when you're setting the sticks, that's where it really gets you, because you're trying to hold on to the rope and keep it. You can tell I'm a rookie here. You're trying to hold on to the rope, set your stick, and you're trying to tighten it as you go up the tree because the tree's getting skinnier and skinnier. It's just one less aggravating thing you got to deal with.
Yeah.
Period.
How long do you think it took for you to feel like you were relatively proficient? Like where you were actually comfortable and it wasn't taking you 45 minutes to get up in a tree?
Probably about 12.5 times before I got really comfortable with
That
it.
is very specific, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, dozen and a
I'm
half.
a very direct individual.
Okay, dozen doesn't work.
Ask me my credit score.
No, I don't want to know. We'll talk about that after. I do want to know your social security number, though. Josh, what were some of your takeaways?
Well, I actually wanted to ask you about that knot that they showed us on the last part that's going to be coming with them. Will you use that, or will you still use the other mechanical piece?
Oh, between the Kong and the Ascender?
Yeah, whatever what he said.
No, that new knot that they brought out where he
where
wetted,
you eliminate the
the
mechanical
rope.
piece you're talking about. I'm still not good on the terminology. I understand how to do it now, and I could identify everything,
Yeah.
but the terminology I'm terrible on.
So as far as that new knot that they're haven't
One hand
dropped yet,
operating.
yeah, well, we're not going to have a choice. That's That's replacing the Prusik knot that's already coming with all the ropes and the packages.
Yeah.
But as far as that versus the Ascender, no, the Ascender's still going to win.
Million
Okay, you
percent.
think so?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah. But for an intro
I meant
version,
to ask you that already.
yeah, for the intro version, like the
Yeah.
lower dollar ones,
Yeah.
if people don't want to spend an extra $150 on those Ascenders,
Yeah.
that knot will be much better.
I'm
For
not
sure.
going to lie. I don't know if y'all noticed this, but when he wetted it and pulled on it, that knot really kind of separated.
It did. It did. It still like it worked the same, but it did open up.
Yeah.
It was not compressed.
And I wasn't going to say this, but Prusik knots have been known to fail on people.
That doesn't surprise me at all, because if you miss the friction a little bit, like if it's just a hair loose, you can get that thing, and especially if it's like 6 inches of line left at the end of it, you can probably pull that through.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
but I've known people that have messed up all sorts of mechanical stuff doing caving and all that junk. So like there is still user error. Like you kind of don't be an idiot when you're using your stuff, and you still got to kind of pay attention.
100%.
Yeah. Have you ever had any like slip down the tree type of issues? Anything like that?
Yeah, I almost died.
Perfect. With a saddle?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ooh, can't wait to hear that story.
Yep. So I was doing my saddle thing, went up a tree, had my lineman's belt. I always get them two mixed up. Lineman's belt around the tree, standing on the very top stick. I had set my platform, and I don't know if you paid attention to how the rope goes around the platform. It's just a little open knot, and it hooks on the knob. Well, I had done that, but I was hot. I was going too fast. I wasn't paying attention, and I did not seat that knot all the way over the knob,
Okay.
and it was barely hanging on. I put 1 foot on there. That platform went straight to the ground. Let me tell you something. That Scotty booty hole hookered up.
Could have made a diamond in there if you had a piece of coal.
Oh, Lord. They would have had a tough time with me in prison. And that was the first time that I ever actually had a situation where it's like, it can happen.
Yeah.
I mean, 100%. And it was all my fault. I mean, it's not like I called Tether and like, hey, y'all need to do a better job. It's like, no, I need to slow down, especially when I'm getting onto the part where this device is about to hold all my weight 20 feet up in a tree. And I literally went back down, got back up, and I was shaking a little bit, but I got back on there and finished hunting.
Did you fall down, or did the lineman belt kind of catch you?
The lineman belt kept me, and I caught me. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I'm
may
acting
have
like
said
I'm
it
on
the
a
wrong
tree
way.
right now. And I went around the tree, and it kept me there. It made me save my life.
Okay.
And
Because you've got the sticks. Like in theory, that lineman belt, even if it would have fell down, it would have slipped on there. It would have caught on
a
one of the
stick or
sticks.
something. on the way
100%.
down.
It's still going to frickin' hurt though.
It would, and that's why I try to tell people, try to keep that lineman's belt up, because that's going to keep you closer to the tree. So if you do fall like I did, you're basically just going to kind of wrap around the tree because you got to think I was stepping onto it. All my weight was there. That platform disappeared. My foot's going down. I'm going around the tree.
Yep.
And then I was able to, there's a cord. Then I was able to get my footing and just sit there and think about what I did for a second. It's like I was almost a statistic.
Yeah. Interesting. So,
well, if you hunt in trees, that's going to happen, and it's not just a saddle thing. Like I did it with tree stands. I haven't had a tree stand fail, but I had like climbing up and using branches and whatnot, and have all your weight on one branch, and the branch goes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, caught by an armpit and whatnot. That happened to me once.
Did it feel weird in the saddle today? Like
no, like at first it did. Like when I first got in it, I was like, it feels awkward. You have to trust what you're doing, and that's a large part of it. And that's what they kept saying: just trust your gear, trust the. I think it was the verbiage they used. But yeah, once you actually give your full weight to it and lean into it, and then start to move around a little bit and start doing some of the maneuvers, which them talking me through it as I did it helped a lot, and pointing out a couple things like you did really helped a lot. But by the time I was done in that, I felt totally comfortable. And yeah, granted, I'm a foot off the ground, but it didn't feel weird or awkward or frightening at all.
And
where it did at first a little bit.
A lot of people, obviously you're just using the tether, but some people will even just leave their lineman rope on there too, so they have 2 points of contact.
Sure.
That's a little bit more to deal with, but it's just an extra little safety precaution.
Yeah, I would think you'd have a harder time like trying to whip around the tree, but if you're not going to do that, that would make total sense. Just another level of security. It's not going to hurt nothing.
It would be a weird scenario, and I guess I'd be curious. Comment below if you've done this, where I feel like I'm always setting up on the edge of something, so I'm never needing like a 360 shooting view. I just haven't.
I don't think you ever intend to need a 360 shooting view, but sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
A number of times the deer has come in the wrong way or not at all the line it's supposed to be on, especially in the rut. They just go all kinds of weird directions. They don't necessarily follow anything consistent.
The outfitter leads mine in front of me with a chain, Jurassic Park style. Then they clip it to the cinder block, and then
does this make you the T-Rex? I'm assuming.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm talking about. I need his phone number. Something else you were talking about the 360, and actually I think Bomar did a video on this years ago, and it always stuck with me. If you're hunting public land, obviously you want to hunt the wind. Well, let's say you're up in the tree and the wind switches on you. Well, you can just switch around to the other side of the tree and hunt the other direction.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's a very good point.
So I will say, one day I noticed deer on a trail that was about 150 yards away, and they just kept running the trail. And I was like, they're not coming over here. I'm moving. So I literally just quietly moved over, climbed back up the tree. Hour later, deer came through and shot one. So like that was a handy thing, and that was, I think, the most like, okay, this is a really cool thing about the saddle hunting.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's very versatile and easy to change.
Yeah.
Like you're not so invested as you are with other forms.
Yeah. What'd you think of the climbing sticks?
I think it's a really great idea. I've never used something like that. I've always had either tree steps or a ladder. I've never actually used individual pieces. I don't know why it wouldn't work. It seems valid, but I'm not a great example of what's good, what's bad, or indifferent. Personally,
okay, I like that. Do you have an opinion on the sticks?
Yeah,
I'm not even just talking
use?
about tethered. That's a little more what I was curious about. Like,
I mean, as far as the sticks go, the one sticks are the cat's meow.
And that's what you would use?
That's what I do use.
Okay, over and above it, like any of the other brands, all that stuff. The one stick is what you like the most.
Well, to be honest with you, and I'm not gonna say any names, but there are other companies out there that are trying to replicate that particular brand stick.
Yeah, I've seen them.
And so that tells you right there, okay, they're onto something. And I mean, between the weight and how easy it is to tie it on, I mean, show me something better, honestly. I mean, because if you do, I'll tell you straight up, like, hey, there's an advantage. I'll use that instead.
Okay. Comment below if you've got a better advantage, or if you've got a better set of sticks that you like. So I'm still struggling because the ones that I have I don't love. So it's selfish that I'm asking for recommendations.
Which ones do you have?
I have the second options that they gave. They had the cheap version.
Well, that right there is why you don't love it. We already know that.
You have the Skeletors.
The Skeletors. They were out of the one sticks, the titanium ones, or I would have bought 700 of them.
Of course you would have.
No, that's the thing is there are certain.
You look around your property, there's sticks.
There's just sticks everywhere. Well, I thought
every
want
tree's
that
got
tree or
fucking
that
sticks
one or
on
that
it.
one or that one. It did look like that with actually like extension ladders and ratchet straps around them forever.
Yeah.
No, I mean I feel like saddle hunting is one of those things where I knew when I started, I was like, this is immediately going to be something that I'm going to be shifting and I'm going to be changing things because I'm never going to be able to think through like, okay, here's why I won't like this thing or here's why I will like this thing. I was like, I just have to buy stuff and then figure out as I'm using it what I won't like. Like for me, there's a lot of gear that I feel like I can kind of think through whether I'm going to like it or not, and not with the saddle. It was just such a unique experience. Like there's just not many times that you're out like, okay, I'm going to climb a tree now with a couple of different ropes.
Yeah, I mean, the whole concept's kind of frightening if you've never done it.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself moving a lot more in a saddle than you would in a lock-on? Because I do.
Yeah.
I'm up there swinging.
Well, I'm not. I get that. Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting
That says
point.
a lot.
No.
Yeah.
Just a swinging. I mean, honestly, you, about hour 2.5, you're sitting there, you're kind of bored. You catch yourself just kind of, wee.
I mean, I don't. If it's a little windy, I don't think there's anything wrong with you moving a little bit. But I will say, like, if I'm in one of my millennial stands, millennium stands.
Yep.
Millennial's what I am, I think.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a millennial too. I'm an elder millennial. Yeah.
No, you're.
No, I am for real. I'm an elder. I'm like I'm the very first.
This isn't Lord of the Rings. You're not an elder. This. How are you an elder millennial?
They call me an elder millennial.
They do, or you call yourself that?
Oh, that's the chart.
When you're on the
1983.
early end of millennial. Yeah, it's
can
90.
look it up.
It's 81.
No, I think you're
I'm
looking
Gen
at
X.
I think you're looking at what the Chinese restaurant gives you.
You think he thinks I'm a boomer.
No,
Boomy,
he's younger than me.
Listen,
He's so easy. I love it. I love it.
keep doing it. At lunch, I was like, at lunch, when you made the Democrat,
What did you say as we're going to the car? I may have to back off a little bit on Brandon. I think I've got him.
keep
It's like,
doing
nah,
it,
he's
dude.
fine.
I don't get shit like that very often. I love it.
In my defense, I did not know everybody was going to laugh that hard at the Democrat joke.
It was funny. It
was great.
Well,
That was
I
epically
think that
good.
was funny was that you directed it at me when I was literally like, there's got to be somebody else here. And then you're like, Brandon. I was like, what? What do I seem
I just
like?
looked up. I was like, "You good?"
It was funny. It was very funny. Yeah. No, keep doing it. It's
We've
good,
had a
good
really
content.
fun. How long have we been hanging out for?
Was it 4
4
or 5 minutes?
5, 6 hours. It's been a lot of fun so
Yeah.
far.
Yeah,
And
for
we
sure.
just now started drinking.
Yeah, right. We've been actually responsible. Nobody ordered a drink at lunch.
Gosh, I thought about it.
Yeah, got an hour plus drive right after that.
Yeah.
Probably smart not to.
It's
Yeah.
fine.
5-lane highway. They're not.
What if we shift gears? What if we shift gears in the pod now?
I see the smile on his face. I know where he's going here for sure.
So right before things got on here, you kind of just mentioned that like how much of a Hoyt guy you are. Mm-hmm. Big Hoyt fan.
Best-selling bow in China.
Is it?
The carbon riser is.
Yeah.
They hate it. They hate it when I say that. But
Yeah.
and honestly, I didn't know that. And I'm not. And for anybody that's a Hoyt guy, I'm not bashing or anything like that. It's just you're so easy to mess with. But actually, somebody else told me that, and I was like, "There's no way."
Oh, the carbon's made in China?
Yeah.
100%.
There's a lot of stuff made in China though.
Well, I knew that, but I'm thinking because isn't it the most expensive carbon bow on the market right now by like $100 roughly.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way. And then I Googled it, and not Meta AI, but Google said China. I was like, I'll be darned. Huh. Now, all the other stuff, to my knowledge, is made here, I guess. I don't know.
Somebody made a claim that the limbs are made overseas too, but not China. But I don't think that's true.
I'm kind of
I've
just
heard
giving him crap because he was shit talking Hoyt earlier, so I wanted to bring him. But
What did I say about Hoyt that bothered you so much?
I didn't even
bother
catch what you
me.
said.
Oh,
I knew it was lippy, whatever it was, because I expect as much, but I didn't actually hear what you said.
I don't remember what I said. What did I say?
I can't actually say it because you will make me cut it out of the podcast if I say it.
Oh, I really don't remember, but okay. You want to text it to me?
No, it was when we were at lunch.
We were at lunch.
Yeah, it was when we were at lunch.
I know. But
No, see, but
yeah,
that
you wanna
little
text it
clip,
to
that
me?
little
It's
clip
not a
that we
bad
just
idea.
had now is perfect because that'll go at the beginning of the pod, and people will watch it because they'll be like, "Whoa, what did he say?" I wonder. I'll tell you afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to get you in too much trouble with anybody. Speaking of that,
He's not a dealer, right?
I'm not a dealer.
And doesn't look like that's a possibility anytime
it's
soon,
very
right?
funny because he actually texted me on the way up here.
Yeah,
Yeah. Wonder if I want to buy more Hamskis. I go direct. I hate that guy.
yeah. Well, yeah. Eventually,
you want
you'll
me to
have a
cut
sales
that
rep
out
you
of the
don't want to deal
pod?
with.
I don't care. He knows it.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm not here. I'm not in the industry for one particular brand. I'm in it because I love it.
okay, I'm trying to figure out what kind of guy you are. I know what kind of guy this guy is, but what I don't know
Want
is
to talk to a celebrity in the fishing world real quick?
Gerald Swindle.
Yeah. You want to talk to him?
No,
Okay.
that's okay.
He wants to know-
Does he do archery stuff with you?
Yeah, he wants to know what bow I think he should shoot this year.
Just go ahead and answer it.
Just put it on speaker in the mic.
G-Dog.
What are you doing, Scooter?
I'm on a podcast with MFJJ and Brandon McDonald. What about you?
Man, hey, tell them boys hello. I'm down here at the Asian massage parlor. They've got me with a goat and 3 pounds of cheese, and I'm going to have somebody come here and post bail before my wife gets here. I wasn't
That is
naked,
staying
but I
in.
was on the moped with the goat.
What are they doing with the cheese? Where are they putting it?
Well, I had it hid in my anal cavity because I was trying to bootleg it out of there on that moped, but they got me. I missed telling you, Scott. They frished me up pretty good. I said the code word 3 or 4 times. I yelled pineapple, Hawaii, and Wiggler. They didn't stop.
That was the best $65 an hour you ever spent, wasn't it?
Ever spent. It was the police frisking and the masseuse. I was overwhelmed. At one time, I started sucking my thumb.
Let me finish up here, G-Dog. I'll give you a call here in about an hour and a half. Are you going to be around the house or are you going on the road?
Yes, I'm doing the equivalent of what you would do if you had to flex 6,000 one-vein arrows on a road. That's doing all these spinning reels and leaders for up in New York, and it's the most boringest thing you'll ever do.
Well, I'm glad to know you think about me when you got nothing better to do in life. I appreciate that. That says a lot about our friendship.
I do late at night when I'm in my underwear. Peace.
See you, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, Gerald Swindle.
He's funny.
Dude, that was hilarious. Is he
Yeah.
from Georgia too?
No, he's from Alabama. He lives up in Gunnersville, and are y'all familiar with him?
I'm not,
So
no.
he was on the Realtree road trips with Waddell,
Oh, okay, cool.
all those guys. He's very well known in the fishing industry, and one of his sponsors, Zoom, who's right down the road from where my shop is, told me that he was looking for bows and stuff like that. So we started doing his work and his wife's work. She shoots too, and they are just great people.
Dude, he sounds so
Yeah.
funny, man.
Comment below if you know who Gerald Swindle is, because if you know how to operate a fishing rod, you probably do. He's hilarious. He's what you just heard. He does the same thing when he's weighing fish on stage in front of national television. I mean, maybe not the cheese in the ass ordeal. But
He should start. He should start doing it.
I'm sorry. We got off track. What were we about to talk about?
Well, the next up was Ultraview. I'm curious about. So, like, those are my boys. I love the Ultraview guys.
I love Billy White. He's a great friend of mine.
He's got a jersey.
I got
sure.
an Ultraview
Are you
tattoo.
sponsored?
Ultraview. I'm not sponsored.
You're not sponsored? Why do you have a jersey?
Same reason he's got that watch.
I just like expensive things. I need more of those. I'm
Hey,
hoping they'll
Ultraview-
send me.
Speaking of things made in China.
You beat me to it. Damn it, Josh. You beat me to it.
You're right with, why is it the most expensive one? I almost went, Ultraview?
What you want to talk about?
Well, just tell me about Ultraview. Tell me about what's going on with Ultraview. What do you think? You just kind of hinted that like you're not. What are you doing? What are you doing with them?
I'm not doing
What's
a
the
whole
thing?
lot with them because I don't know. Why would I?
Did they send stuff to you? Would they
As
would
far
they
as-
do a dealer?
I've been,
Like, what- what's
I've
the
been a
thing?
dealer with them when they came on hot and heavy. So they're a Georgia company, just like us.
Yeah.
They came on hot and heavy, and people were buying them. And then they stopped buying them in my area in particular. Now, and we did sell quite a few online, but it's just one of those ordeals where I don't think there's anything wrong with it whatsoever. It's just I don't see that many selling points with it personally for that price point. I think there's other options out there that make it a whole lot easier for me behind the counter to talk a customer into buying it. At least that's what I'm seeing in my particular area. I mean, I still got 2 at my shop that nobody has touched in probably 3 months. They collect in dust.
Yeah, well, if you're referring to the sites, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. The older ones haven't been moving for a while.
Yeah.
Ever since the Matthews edition one came out.
Yeah, it does me a
you
lot of good.
You couldn't hardly sell you one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but that changes here in next couple of days, I think.
We'll see.
Pretty quick. But yeah, they're what about the rest of the line though? Or is it just sites? Like do you mess with the rest of the line? Or you just push it all out?
We did sell quite a bit of the releases there for a little while, but once again, there's another item in my shop that's a little bit better value in my opinion, and I think my customers would agree.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm curious about, and this is what I actually wanted to get into was the difference between like you're in a smaller.
I'm about to sell you a site, Brandon McDonald.
Done. I'm in.
Ready?
I'm in.
Before he says which one he's going to like on both of them, if you're saying that, I want to guess which one they are.
Oh, you already know.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but I mean, we
I
can't.
said it at lunch.
Oh, I wasn't listening. I don't remember you saying
Oh.
once.
He doesn't listen to you most of the time, so you get to
Evidently not.
reiterate.
Okay.
But that's the nice thing. You can tell him stories twice, and he'll be like, "Wow, that's amazing."
You sure I wasn't taking a piss?
We literally talked about the guy walking in your house.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Well, no, I was talking about the site though. We didn't talk about what site it was. It was the.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the release.
No, I was going to do both.
Okay, go ahead.
And it was a Stan, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Stan.
And I completely agree. Like we don't hardly sell an Ultra View release. We sell Stans.
Yep.
But I'm guessing the site's dialed.
As far as comparison, yeah.
As far as the one you're going to recommend.
That one and the Spot Hog Boonie,
Gotcha.
especially on the triple stack.
Yeah.
Yep.
That one makes a lot of sense to me. The
Great
Booney,
site.
compared to the dialed, as far as price wise, because the Booney is so much cheaper.
Yeah, and it's a much better price point.
Yeah.
And it actually has a couple more features that are a little bit more suitable for the hunter in general. I mean, when you're comparing a 3-pin vertical sight, Spot Hog is the only one on the market, to my knowledge, unless they've let their patent run out, that you can actually adjust all 3 pins. So if you do your when you do your calibration, which is 20 and 60 with the side tapes, and then once you figure out what side tape you need, you dial your top pin back up to 20 because that's your dominant pin, right? Well, let's say you step back to 30 yards and you want your second pin to be hitting at 30 yards. Well, you shoot. Well, you hit high. Well, with the dialed, you just got to figure out what that yardage
It's all
is.
fixed, yeah.
But with a Spot Hog Boonie, bring that second pin
Yeah,
up.
I'm pretty sure they don't have a patent on that, homie. The original
Then
patent.
why has nobody else done it?
This is what we
Man.
said.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because
it's what I
there's
want.
2-pin versions.
There's 3-pin. There's a 3-pin version too, but not all 3 pins move. 2 of them move. 1 of them doesn't on CBE. So CBE's got a vertical triple. I simply think the other market hasn't done it, and the reason I say that is because that original patent of vertical movable pins was Trophy Ridges, and they let it lapse, and that's when that Spot Hog site came out.
Really?
Yes, I just don't think there's. I don't think the market thinks there's a massive demand for that vertical 3. I think it's the smartest thing built.
Yeah.
It's just
agree.
it's the whole thing's a little big and bulky. Is my only gripe. Sight picture wise, those pins aren't super small, and I like a small pin, like a lot.
I will say
That I struggle with.
one of my pet peeves is they don't have a shade.
Yep.
They don't have anything to shade those fibers in order to make them more smaller and crisp, like you can with the dial, like you can with a
But
XL.
the pin structure itself's bigger. Like if you compare their other ones, it's a big pin. Like, and you go look at a black gold dual track, right? Those are skinny, those are thin, those are small, and I don't know why they haven't made that in 3 pins yet. Because that should be a 3-pin sight option.
I don't know why. Like I said, I thought they had a patent because I'm like, there's got to be companies
That's
just
what I
waiting,
thought, too.
waiting in line.
There's no way they did if Trophy Ridge had the patent and they let it lapse. And there were multiple sight companies, and I know that was what the case because Black Gold didn't release their dual track until Trophy Ridge let it lapse. Because the ability to move the pin up and down in a vertical position was in that patent.
Right.
So I can't see them not renewing their patent and someone else managing to get a patent on basically the same thing. That was the old Trophy Ridge 5 pins. I don't know how long you've been selling their stuff for, but way back when they were the first vertical adjustable pins. And they had like a 5-pin. They had all the gearing and crap underneath it, and the fibers that wrapped around the sight.
Yeah.
That was the original.
That thing, yeah. God, what was it called?
When it first came out, oh my God, that thing was hugely popular, and people shot the freaking fibers off the bottom. Their fletchings would hit the fibers came out the bottom and coiled
they
around.
actually came.
They were exposed. Yeah, and people's
Wow.
fletchings would hit them and break them all off.
I bought those for the store just because I saw it in the catalog. I'm like, that looks cool. And then as soon as I got them in, I'm like,
This is going to be a maintenance problem.
Yeah, yeah, just two for this year.
So the original one was before Trophy Ridge was a bear company. Trophy Ridge was its own company way back when. It was founded by, God, I'm trying to remember his name. It was in Montana. It was a Montana company originally. I'm trying to remember the dude's name.
I knew it at one time too.
He
I just don't remember now.
he did a broadhead after that too. It's like the Toxic, but not. I'm trying to remember what it was called. It had a ring on it. God, why can't I remember his name? But anyway, he was the original inventor of it, and he sold that to the company that owns Bear, and now it's all the Trophy Ridge line. That's where it came from.
Did you know that Bear Archery makes ping pong tables?
Really?
Really?
Well, they make everything in China, and there's all other stuff made in China
They
too.
kind of, you know what? They just called the factory and they were like, "What else do you guys make?" And they were like,
They
"We
make-
do ping pong tables." And they were like, "You know what? Done. We'll do it."
I found out during COVID that they make a lot of odds and ends stuff.
Well, it's like G5. G5 makes
Yeah.
all sorts
All
of crazy
sorts of
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they really do. So you do Bear a lot, don't you? You deal with Bear a lot.
A lot of their Trophy Ridge stuff and a lot of their like $500 package deals.
This is what I wanted
So-
to know: was the rural versus more city.
Well, you're shipping a lot of them, aren't you? Or not a lot?
No, pretty good bit.
Yeah. So, well, my question, because I don't have an accurate answer from it, and I don't want to give bad information. How much of those bows are made in China? Is the entire line
Bear?
manufactured? Yeah.
The only thing that's not made in China is their recurve bows, to my knowledge.
So is it an assembled, built bow that gets shipped over, or are the parts over here and they're assembling it over
That
here?
I can't 100% answer. I don't know for a fact.
I looked,
can
and
call.
even that, if you're getting everything shipped in from overseas and then they put it together, they can only advertise it as an assembled in the USA product. They can't say made in the USA unless there's a certain amount of the raw material that's made here. I looked it up at one
There
point.
is something on the inside of those limbs that says USA.
It may say assembled in the USA.
So it must be assembled then. It's got to be.
That would kind of
Maybe.
surprise me because with the price point that they have, because I mean they're casted aluminum risers. I mean, I'd be surprised if they were assembled in the USA, honestly.
Yeah, the way the cardboard the boxes come in and everything is that same cardboard you get from China. You know, their cardboard's different.
Yep.
Yeah, you can usually spot stuff that's Chinese just by the way it's shipped to you.
Yep.
And so I thought almost everything was, but I really wonder now with what's going on with everything coming in from China, how that company survives.
Because their price point. Because
Yeah, their price point's tight to begin with.
Yeah, they dominate the price point bow market
They do.
pretty much.
100%. If you're looking at if you're an adult male looking at a $500 bow or less, or even $550 or less, 99% likely you're buying a bear.
Yeah, and I bet they sell a crap ton
Or you're
of them
buying a
every
kid's
year.
bow that happens to fit you and you just didn't look around enough. Because they're like the brands just gave up on that. Like all of them did. Like they just stopped
Diamond
making.
used to be a hot competitor in that.
well, But they're not making an adult male bow. They're making a kid's bow that fits an adult male.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Where Bear, like PSE used to make several bows in that price point. Right. Even Hoyt had a bow in that price point at one point. They were a $4.99 product. Right. No one is trying anymore. Like they've just all gone screw it. And it's probably China. And none of the other ones willing to do that, would be my guess.
I guess other than these big name brands are just wanting to be number one seller as far as flagship bows go. That's what they're chasing.
Yeah.
Which I get it.
That's where they make their money.
But yeah, I don't think it necessarily has to do with reputation. I think it literally just has to do with how much effort are you going to put in to go do a thing that you can get shipped into the country and make $100 net revenue.
Well, that was where I was going with this. Is I was gonna, because we both know what we're paying for them, right? And let's say it's a $500 bow. We know what we pay for them. How much money do you think they're even making? Or what it takes to manufacture that thing? If you had to guess, and you're having it shipped in and then reshipped to us, because we're also not paying freight when you buy a certain dollar amount, which anybody that's being logical about it's doing. So they're eating that too.
I would genuinely be curious to know, like what you said, because I've seen their overstock discount sheet when they discount our cost, and it's like, well, what is the normal margin for y'all?
Dude, I bet it would shock you. I bet you'd be
probably
like,
more than what we
holy
think.
crap, how the hell are they making these things for this cheap?
The way you're squinting your eyes at me, you know something.
No, I don't. But I know math and I know the economy and business, right? And if for what we're paying for them, what they're selling them for, they can't be making more than $100 a bow. They can't.
No, it's less than that.
Okay, so if it's less than that, and you just added 53% tariff on it, how much is that bow now?
I don't know, because they haven't had an increase on that bow now that I think about it.
I think they got everything in already. They got it in before it happened.
To be continued.
Because traditionally,
2026. Shafted.
most bow companies have the bulk of their bows done by the time that happened.
Yeah.
Right. That's next year. And that's what I'm getting at is how are they going to make that bow? How are they going to operate that price point?
I'd be
under
curious
that situation?
because when I first started selling, I'll just use this bow as an example because this is the one we sell pallets of. The Bear Species, I think it's the EV now or XT, it's same bow, different name. Used to be $3.99, ready to hunt.
Yeah.
Now it's
Ready to hunt?
ready to hunt.
Full package, dude.
Come in the box. All we had to do was fix their D-loop. Bear Archery, please
Redo the D-loop.
stop with the D-loop.
Cut that shit off.
And please stop serving it. I know Bass Pro really appreciates it, but
Just stop.
just please don't. Don't even put the peep in. Now it's $479.99. So it went up $80. And
Yeah, which is 20%.
yeah.
But
now,
that still
now it's
seems-
before tariffs.
That was before tariffs.
That is still so cheap.
Yeah.
It is.
And that's a 55 to 70 pound bow that's single cam, rotating mod. It's going to kill any deer you want to.
Yep. I think where most of it's going, to be honest, is
I'm going to find out how much money you make, Bear.
yeah. Well, no, there's only so much, but here's a good way to compare it. Pull up San Lita or whatever, and look at the price structure of those products. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, hop onto Amazon
Yeah.
and see how much this package is, that package is, that package is. One of those I think it's the Dragon X8 or something like that.
Oh, they got the 9 now.
I know, but I'm talking about the ones they've sold the most of. You can go back and it'll tell you how many sold that month. And it's wild. And that's just Amazon. You can actually buy it from them. That's just the ones being sold on Amazon. And I swear to God, somewhere in there says they're like assembled in the USA. I was reading it. I was on the phone with my rep and we were talking about low end bows and plans of what they're going to do next year and looking at price points and price structures. And we got on and looked at those.
Seriously?
Started comparing them. Yeah.
Because they ship it in
You can buy a $130 full package.
130?
And it's got arrows and a release and a sight and a rest and a stabilizer and a sling and a peep and a loop.
Did they go rob a factory in China and then decide to ship it? That is terrifying.
wild?
Who wants to draw a 70-pound, $130 full setup?
Guess what it looks just like?
A Hoyt.
Mission
I've
Craze.
freaking seen it.
No, the $130
they got another
one's
one?
Mission
$130
Craze.
ones?
I haven't
Well,
seen that one.
they've got one that looks like a Hoyt.
Yeah.
But the least expensive thing they offer in their line looks just like an old Mission Craze.
Have you seen the one where they're duplicating the Mach 33 over there now?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Well, you mean yeah.
That would be the one that I would rip off, actually,
But
'cause
that's
it looks
the
like
funny
it'd be
part.
easy.
That's the funny part. That's the only one that's not made in China.
Right.
Like Elites is made in China, Bowtex is made in China, Hoyt's made in China. If you make a carbon bow and and it's not the lower end Bowtech, I don't think is made there. I think that's actually made here. That's thermoplastic, so that's made here. Boeing has stuff made out of that, I guess. But the only one that's actually made in the U.S. is the PSC.
Is the one
so it's
getting ripped
ironic
off in China.
that the one that's getting ripped off as a carbon in China is the one that's made here. That's wild.
It looks easy. It looks like an easier one to manufacture. Like if I were just looking at a bow.
According to PSE, it's not. According to PSE, that bow is done by hand.
Yes,
period.
it's hand laid.
It's hand laid and bondoed. Like the smooth finish on that is literally like body filler from a car.
Right, but when you have 7-year-old kids that can be in your factory with non-ventilated doing it in China, like they can do the same stuff.
An adult male American with skill can make 6 of those a day. Total. Those risers, 6.
Really?
And that guy is so in demand that he gets hired by an auto body place and they lose him and they got to
And by the way, I'm not discounting the skill of those American laborers. What I'm saying is when you can just throw bodies at somebody.
Well, yeah, but that's just the point. You can't on that bow, that specific one. So unless they're making it differently than the way you make that bow, because that's all hand layered carbon.
Surely they are making it differently than they're making it.
Yeah, they'd have to. They just copy
I'm just
the
talking about
shape
the
or
look.
something.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And it's likely like the engineering that went in to make sure that there's structural integrity in the PSE, they probably don't have that. Like you're probably going to literally draw that thing of the 100th time and just snap that bitch right in half.
Nope. And that's why that Sandalina, that one and one other bow, we won't even touch in the shop.
Yeah, it's frightening.
It's very frightening. It won't put it in the draw bore. Won't change the draw length. That one and the $99, I think it's $199 Barnett Vortex from Walmart.
Yeah,
that has plastic mods.
Yeah, that one be very cautious of. That's actually probably the most dangerous one. Period. I think the other ones, the Sanalitas or whatever, are probably safer than the Barnett one. But that's also a Chinese made bow.
Yep. And I had one boy that had one of those, and I did do a little work on his because bless his heart, he just loved to shoot. I mean, he shoots more than probably all of us. Seriously, I mean, it's just awesome. And he was going through a set of strings and cables on that bow every month.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Yep. And we're actually pretty darn cheap on strings and cables, but still, every month,
that's a lot.
That adds up.
Yeah.
So eventually, he got a new bow. Actually, he won a bow from me. Now that I think about it, yeah, he won a Dart and Consequence, and he
nice, good.
Shoots the piss out of that thing too.
That's awesome. Good for him.
But he's only gone through.
I was gonna say he's probably not going through strings.
No,
not nearly as bad.
No,
still doing it.
I think he's on his second set in a year, maybe a year and a half. But he just shoots a lot, which is what I like to see.
Yeah, that's great.
It's amazing how when a cam tracks straight, the strings don't get destroyed.
Yep.
If you're burning through strings, by the way, your cams are probably crooked.
And that's what I had to politely explain to his parents without trying to sound like a salesman. I'm like, hey, look at this. It's rubbing against the side of the cam. It's not supposed to do that when it's a quarter way through the draw cycle because it was eating away at the serving.
Yeah.
This is dangerous too. Like
it is.
Yeah, if you're not watching it, it'll blow up.
And he's a kid, so like he's not assuming that some adult has made a product that's gonna like potentially string snap him right in the freaking forehead.
Don't ever think that.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. What were we talking about?
Sanlitas.
This is kind of
Sanlitas, margin, and bears.
But and then before that, it was Ultraview.
Yeah, but
Ultraview.
the
have we
point
gotten through
of
a topic yet?
No,
Welcome
it's
to the podcast,
ADD
dude.
rollers.
This is what we do.
We shouldn't hang out this much.
No, this is
He's
kind of
usually
where
the
it
adult
goes.
reel it back. Hey, let's take it back.
Well, it's
let's take it back.
I mean, I'm kind of just interested in like, what I was curious about, and that was why I brought the UltraView thing up, was rural versus city. Like, you've got 2 shops. What's the experience? Is there a shop dynamic where you feel like you're selling stuff that's more expensive than you're selling? Well, or is it not like that at all? Because obviously you're both online sellers, so maybe you don't feel it as much.
I don't know. We sell some pretty expensive. We sell a lot of dials. So,
Okay.
So we sell.
That's top of the line right there.
We sell a lot of dials.
That's interesting. Why do you sell a lot of dials?
Because they have selling points.
Do you push them when they come in?
I do not push them.
Okay. You just kind of...
The first thing I ask somebody whenever they're looking at sites, if they don't tell me, hey, I want this particular site, I say, what's your budget? What are you looking for? Okay, $200, probably going to be a Trophy Ridge, something like that. Something... Typically when somebody comes in for a dialed, they ask for it, but they don't know what they're buying, so we have to explain it to them.
Okay.
And that's what we do. I mean, you're paying for a site that's noticeably lighter than a lot of other ones. You're paying for a site that's going to give you a little bit more distance than others, because as you dial it down, it's getting closer to you. And if you don't know, the closer your scope housing is to the riser of the bow, the more distance you get out of the shot. A super simple site now versus the OG one to set up as far as first, second, and third axis.
Yep, for sure.
Having the options as far as 2 sight tapes, I kind of like because you can set it to the inside or the outside of the dial. What I've actually done with what I'm going to do with mine is the inside of my sight tape is with regular knocks, and the outside is going to be with lighted knocks. Even though it's going to tune a little differently, at 100 yards, I'm hitting a couple inches lower, so I'm going to put a slower sight tape on there.
That's a good idea.
Sure.
I've actually wondered about that for really long distance stuff. If you have a good tape out to like 120, and then you see, I feel like the tapes get weird past 120. Have you noticed that?
Depends on if it's like a stock tape, or a made one.
Well, no, I mean, like even Archer's Advantage. I haven't tried precision cut. Not because I hate them. I just haven't done it. But like, I always felt like if I was getting back past 120, I was pretty good until there. But if you were trying from 120 to 200, then it got weird. And I wondered about that, like having a different tape that was set up on the outside for the 120 and then longer.
Yeah, my process on those, I build a tape at 100. The intent at 100 is that's the data you give it, and then I immediately walk out to 150 and shoot it and manipulate it, and then go back.
But you're manipulating the entire tape.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. It's not because something weird's going on past that. It's because the tape's not actually 100% accurate.
Yeah,
that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
So you end up taking off a couple feet or adding a couple feet, depending on if you're high or low. Which for one reason or another always seems like it's low. It almost never seems like it's high.
I'm gonna give y'all something to laugh at.
All right.
So remember me telling you I was kind of fussing about precision cut?
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, it's so simple. I don't understand why you can't figure it out, Scotty. I lost 27 arrows this year. About $30 a pop. X impacts, glue and tip, 4 fletch. I was going as far as possible. And I was trying to get out to 160 yards, which I did.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell y'all something. If you don't slow down, unlike Scotty most of the time doesn't do, and actually read the directions. So when it tells you take the measurement from the center of the arrow to the center of the peep, or center of the peep to center of the arrow.
Yep.
At full draw, let me tell y'all what it doesn't mean. It doesn't mean lay the arrow out, measure that whole SOB, divide it by 2, and then measure it from the peep to the center of the arrow. That's not at all what it means, because as about arrow 32 flew, precision cut thought I had a 10-inch peep height.
They're like, this guy is the longest face in the country.
A lot.
I was getting so pissed.
They even have a picture.
Oh, they have a great video. They do a great job of explaining
I do that
it.
stuff all the time, so I'm not going to judge you for that.
I was just like, why am I not able to? Everybody says it's so great and so easy, and here I am like, I ain't making a video about this yet. And now you're 100% right. It is super simple. Just slow down, read the directions. Don't do a Scotty.
Well, it actually takes a lot less information than like Archer's Advantage did. Archer's Advantage wanted like your shape of vein, etc. There's a whole bunch of different stuff in there. They just want your arrow weight, peep height, peeped pin, and what's one other thing? And speeds, if you have speeds.
But did they give? You said you set it up using the Doppler, right?
Yeah, that's what I used to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're still getting speed down range too.
Yeah, you give it 2 speeds. You give it like 20 yards and like 70 yards or 65
but I think
yards
that's the difference in why it's more accurate is because
100%.
you don't have to put in all the veins and all that stuff because you're getting 2 speed variations.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Speaking of sight tapes and long distance, we were talking about dial a second ago. I do have a serious pet peeve with them considering it's a sight that I kind of market towards a little bit longer distance shooting, dialed, can we go past 100 in the box as far as sight tapes go?
Is that all they go to is 100?
Mm-hmm.
They have their own sight tape program, and you pay for it. It's like $10 a year. It's stupid cheap, but you have to have all your schematics and specs dead up, because when you send it to them and they mail you a tape.
Oh, no.
Blah.
Yeah, and that's one thing I like about Precision Cut is you can put travel tape, so it gives you the tape that's dead up based on the specs you gave them, but it also gives you a few feet per second faster and slower.
Yeah. Well, and you can go in and tell it what elevation or pressure you're going to be at.
Yeah, once you figure it out, it's great.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was easy.
Yeah. $600 of
I
errors
probably,
later.
when you said, what am I doing wrong? And I was like, it's simple. I don't understand. I probably should have said, okay, explain to me what you're doing. Like,
I'm glad I didn't. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you didn't care enough to ask.
It just didn't occur to me. I was like, what
I'm
are you
so glad
what
you
do
were
mean?
too busy to be
It's
my
like literally all
friend.
you're doing is shooting it through a chronograph, pretty much. I mean, a couple other basic
Oh,
things.
I could do that. I shot the hell out of it through that chronograph, but I mean, I just like,
Well,
why am I?
here's the irony of that. That's the same way you measure an Archer's Advantage, too, in every other sight tape program I've ever seen.
I never used any of them until then.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. So,
Yeah.
for the record, anyone that you use when they're asking you that, that's what they mean.
Yeah, so I've pretty much always ran stock tapes.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Like,
I do the majority of the time, too.
for hunting, that's all you need. I mean, like the Spot Hogs, CBEs. I mean, majority of your sight tapes out there, 20 and 60. You do that calibration, you're good to go.
Yeah.
I'll shoot from 20 to 100 and then just mark dots on the paper and then go back and just match the tape up. And
Line it up.
yeah, you're good. But
I used to do that.
yeah, I mean,
Peasant.
you used
No,
to,
I literally was going to
you
say
used
that.
to, you used to shoot good though. So
Yes, you're not wrong.
It's
You're not wrong.
things
Hey,
have changed now.
Let me tell you something. Josh can shoot as long as he doesn't fall on his bow.
Oh, did you know the Hoyts and the Picatinny mounts? There's room in there. That's what happened.
Okay, that's
sight
what I was
shoved
wondering. Did you actually figure it out?
Yes, there is.
It's okay.
So
Is
the
it
bar didn't bend.
No, the bar didn't bend. The sight was in the bottom of the Picatinny bracket, so there's a bolt that goes through there, and there's a little bit of room in between it. So if you slam it down just right, it'll push your sight to the other side of it.
it pushed the entire bracket
The entire
up with
whole sight assembly bracket, everything.
okay. So
Moved up.
what you're saying
And
is
that's how much I ended up moving my needle down and try to get it right.
I wish like hell I was wearing a body GoPro. I was behind him when it happened.
I'm shocked it
Oh,
wasn't
man.
on film.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was.
That was hard.
I watched
hit
it,
hard.
and for some reason, I'm like in my head, record. That's not gonna work. I was like, this is gold, because he fell hard. Dude.
I did.
Like,
yeah. I mean, you must have slammed it good to
Hole really hard. Like my V bar was flattened up against the
Yep.
bow. The whole front bar rotated over. Like I hit the ground really.
I thought
really
there was
hard.
going to be a derail or a hip replacement one.
Yeah, I'm not that old.
Yeah, but you fell really hard.
I did fell really hard. I did. That was there's falling, and then there was that, and that was pretty epically bad.
I'm glad that you figured out what it was. That you figured
Yeah.
out what the issue with the sight was, because it wasn't actually the sight. It was the mount to the bow.
It was where the sight mounts to the bow. Yes.
Yeah.
It had shifted in between it because there is some.
Because
room.
you were hitting higher or low. You weren't missing
I was
left.
hitting
or
high.
right. You were hitting
Yeah.
high.
I was hitting high, and I hit the ground, and it hit
And
the
it moved
sight
it up.
and pushed it up.
Because
pushed
I
it
thought when you started shooting after that, I'm like, he's going to be left or right. But
So did I.
I remember it was
I
elevation.
would have bet money my third axis was like that or like that.
Yeah.
For sure. Nope. Left right was great. I was just that low.
But that's
Like
another
8
thing
inches.
that people need to
Yeah.
silver sharpie. If you've got that bow,
Now that I know there's tolerance in it, if I kept shooting that setup or whatnot, I'd absolutely mark the top and the bottom with silver.
You're not going to keep shooting a Hoyt?
I'll kill something with it.
Oh, you haven't killed anything with it yet?
Not yet. No. I've only killed one animal since. Well, I shot a
you shut your
I
bear.
shot a deer in February, a Sitka. Or coos deer in February. But since this cycle of hunting, I consider that last year, even though it's in the first part of the year. Yeah. I shot a bear with form.
You'd be proud.
And I'll
shot
shout
it with
I,
the prime.
Oh, I know. I called him.
Yeah.
I said, how's it feel to have a sack?
I said, I'm so glad I'm done shooting this bow. No, yeah, I want to kill 8 animals with 8 different bows this year. But in general, I traditionally do shoot my Matthews better and that is probably only because I've shot it more. I wouldn't say anything out beyond that. And I was actually more struggling with the release than the bow. When I got back out, I didn't realize it.
I am curious about that release. I got to spend some time with it.
I couldn't get it light enough.
Did you like where the thumb barrel ended up?
I liked it if it would have moved quicker. Like when he first went through it, like had that dragging it or whatnot. I gave it to him. He tore it apart, cleaned it up, put it back together. And I went back and shot it, and it was really relatively quick and smooth. But it just got heavier and heavier and heavier without adjusting anything.
Could you wrap your thumb around it pretty good?
I was deliberately putting my thumb on the back of the release where it sat against it. So when I pushed, so you couldn't push down.
Oh, okay.
That's the idea of that. It comes with an offsetting one. He makes those, 3D prints them. So you can use either. But I could not set it light enough. Even if I just took my thumb off of it and set it on the back of it, as I would pull, it would just start moving a lot more.
I think it has potential. I just got to tinker with it a little bit. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to be the next best thing or not. But it's, by the way, we're talking about the Evolution
Shadow.
Yeah.
What's it made out of?
It's aluminum. You can get it. I think you can get a brass one too.
So simple on the inside.
It's very simple. Yeah.
I mean,
but that might also be why I was running into issues with the movement kind of changing.
Yeah.
It's still kind of expensive, right?
For the record, yeah, it is. And for the record, mine wasn't a stock one. Mine was like one of the first ones he got. He gave it to me to play with. So it could just be as simple as that. But as soon as I set it down and grabbed a different release, everything, like my group was half the size. But I was just struggling to get it to go off.
That's what sucks about having a shop, playing with everything,
Yeah.
Which we don't have to.
It's fun.
But it is a lot of fun.
Well, for how I'm wired and what I believe you're wired, yes, you have to. You have to be able to give that feedback to a customer. 100%. So you have to spend time with it. It's just important. There's no way I won't, and I guarantee there's no way you won't. You're just gonna.
There's only one item in my shop that I don't mess with.
Dildos. I didn't know what you have. I don't know what type of shop. It's
So
arrows.
it does mess with dildos?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Crossbow?
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I've been having a hard time with this mic ever since we started this podcast. Because this thing right here, boy. UltraView 1K arrows.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they sold like hotcakes when we got them.
Did they?
Yeah. But then everyone found out that Rip TKOs are cheaper.
By a lot.
Yeah.
The 4.5 millimeter thing drove me crazy. I hated the idea that if I had those arrows and something happened when I traveled, I couldn't just go easily replace them with something else.
That is very true, but you'd be amazed at how many people came in and didn't just buy one box.
Oh, yeah. Several.
Yes. Like I was, I mean, I'm surprised you didn't.
I did. No,
Oh,
I took them Wyoming elk hunting last year. I put them in, dude, I'll say this, like, never an issue with the fletching ripping off. I thought for sure, because we're shoving those things inside of saddlebags on mules. Like, it was everything you would want in a backcountry hunt other than actually killing something. It was amazing. But we beat the shit out of everything that we had. And bows come back just covered in dust, and the arrows were perfect. They
How
were
much do you
great.
think the price would have dropped without the box?
$50.
I've been telling everybody 75.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
I
That
do-
box was ridiculous.
I love,
and you loved every minute
I
of it.
love that they have fantastic packaging. I
would
do
absolutely
think
pay an
I
extra
do think
$75
that they
for it.
probably
Brandon loves
overshot.
things he doesn't have.
I
A
think they-
fantastic package.
That'll go at the front of the video. I do think that they have. I do think that they have overshot with the packaging stuff. I think they can pull it back. I don't think it adds enough value to justify the prices of what they're doing, especially with something like the arrows. That's silly.
You know what I think with that whole company? Honestly, I just think they've pushed it so far and so far and so far, and I think that people have stopped. I think they've just gone, I've had enough.
Yep, 100%.
really do.
I mean, I hate it. I hate being an honest individual. When people come in the store, they always go to that box. What do you think? I'm like,
What are you doing?
Screw myself
It's
out.
slowly
$200.
dropping.
Mine is too.
And it's like as tight as it can get.
Well, we need different ones that mount to the. So bring it closer to you, and then pull this in so that the lever's not, not as
Gotcha.
crazy.
Well, that's what I was gonna do, but
That's fine. Now you can raise it a little bit.
There you go.
A little more vertical.
it's not extended out as far.
That's fine.
It looks like it's staying still.
Okay.
It's missing a knob too.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what happened with that.
What kind of podunk
in here
operation
somewhere.
y'all running here?
Yeah, you would
Dang.
think for like
do feel
$400
that.
setups, you wouldn't have stuff fall off of it each one.
Yeah, no, I told him, I said, I got a mic. He said, what'd you get? It's like a Walmart Blue Yeti. He's like, oh, you got to get one of these. I'm like, I don't do this.
It's very different, and you actually have a really good voice. So I would really focus on that because
Other
when
than
people,
the accent, it's great.
No,
Your voice is-
it's good in general. No, your voice is really good. It's distinct. It stands out, and when people hear it, they're going to remember it, and it's going to sync. So your audio's stupid important. Like this little $400 thing is very, very relevant.
So I don't do a lot of podcasts. I don't know if I told y'all.
Well, even your audio going into your videos.
That's true.
If you can
I'll
get
show
better,
you. I'll show you the DJI stuff that we have that'll plug directly into your phone.
plugs into your phone.
Oh, it's on my wish list.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would move it to the front of your wish list
No, it is.
because the audio is very different, and it's like I said, you have a very good distinct voice. You need to emphasize that.
You're not wrong, because apparently a lot of people recognize it when they call the store and say, "Is this Scotty?" I'm like, "No, we fired his ass. He doesn't work here anymore."
He was terrible.
Yeah.
I actually told one of the new guys to start working. I said, "I don't mean this in a rude way, but if somebody calls and asks for me, find out what they want first."
I don't get on the phone anymore at all. I can't.
Well, that's the difference between a 30-year shop and a 10-year shop.
Fair.
Yeah.
You'll get to the point where you just can't get on
I
the
know,
phone.
and honestly, I do not mind it one bit. To me, it's very flattering because it lets me know that y'all don't know how to close windows because I'm tired of these flies.
I
flying
know.
around like Top Gun.
Can't figure it out either.
Yeah.
It lets me know that
We've gone through multiple different times.
I know.
Trying to figure it out. I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
But when people call the shop and say, "Hey, is Scotty there? Is Bo Talk there?" Or when you send an email, "Where's Bo Boy?" That lets me know that my stuff's working.
Your
and
stuff's
it's doing
working
good.
and you need to keep doing it more.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
will.
Same thing.
100%.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, when are you live streaming stuff at your shop?
So I used to do the TikTok live thing a lot.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Like you do some like full days.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, so it would depend on how slow we are at the shop.
Yep.
So before social media started driving more traffic to the shop, a lot of times I would go live and build arrows, and it was amazing how many orders I would get right there. People see the live, like, "Oh, I love that honeycomb wrap," or whatever. How much? Email me, send an invoice.
No kidding. Yeah, sorry about the flash.
No,
Just
it's fine.
enjoy 'em.
It's fine. I mean, that drove a ton of business.
That's wild to me.
That I wouldn't have guessed it either.
It was on TikTok when you were
Yeah,
doing it?
yeah. So TikTok's where I started.
Yeah.
So my TikTok following started by accident, 110%.
How many followers do you have on TikTok now?
It's 200 or something, isn't it?
It's 200 something. Yeah, I think it's like 230.
230,000 people on
Yeah.
TikTok.
So I started TikTok back when TikTok was, I think it was pre-COVID, and they were still advertising on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's how long I've been on there as far as like scrolling. And then I posted a few videos just messing around and somehow got to 15,000 followers. I'm like, this is fake. This is all Chinese bots.
Yeah,
There's no way.
There's no
this
way real
many,
human beings are watching
yeah,
this.
there's no way this many
Yeah.
people find me interesting. Well, then I started doing kind of AMSR arrow builds because I was bored of the shop, had nothing to do.
Why not? Yeah.
Just do it,
push
put it out
live.
there. Million views. I'm like, now I know it's fake because there's no way a million people think it's that interesting. Well, then they started coming in the store saying, "Hey, man, we want arrows." People start emailing, "Hey, man, we want arrows. Hey, I got celebrities. Hey, we want arrows." I'm like, really? And now all that's transferred over to Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And now because when I started the other platforms, I thought, okay, it's just going to be the same people. If I make a few posts, "Hey, go follow me on Instagram. Hey, go follow me on YouTube," whatever. And it's not. I mean, a lot of them are, but I've been delightfully surprised at how many people. And it's kind of interesting the age difference depending on what platform.
Oh, that makes sense to me actually too. Like Facebook, you're probably getting a bunch of older people.
Facebook is 40 and up.
Yeah, that makes sense because like Facebook was the thing 20 years ago.
TikTok is 18 to 25. I've looked at my analytics. Instagram it's about the same. It's like 20 to 30. YouTube is all over the place as far as what I see is analytics. So and that's one of the things that's been very interesting to me is because I have 3 different names across social media platforms. I can tell by what they call me
Which one they're watching from.
which one they're watching
that makes
from.
sense.
Well,
makes
that was
sense.
on accident
Yeah.
because I couldn't put Botalk on Instagram because Botalk started because of TikTok.
Yeah.
So I couldn't be like Bogram. I mean, so I
Yeah.
just put what I put. Oh, Bo Boy, because I put Bo
Bo
Boy
Boy.
for that
Yeah.
and for YouTube, and then still trying to figure out Facebook. Facebook accidentally, I know it sounds like a terrible problem, grew really fast for me, and since I'm verified on there, I can't change my name.
Yeah.
So it's Scot Evans, which is my name, which is no big deal.
Yeah.
So it's been very, very interesting to learn as I've gone along.
So like this would be maybe talking to people that are thinking about doing content stuff. How, I mean, obviously like having cross branding is not ideal for what you're trying to do. Like Bo Boy, and then the other variations of you. Like, you're basically just building multiple different brands in essence. Like, what do you think that people should come up with a name, or do you think people should use their own name, or like, what do you think that they should do if they're going to start a hunting YouTube channel or whatever?
If you're going to do anything, don't end it with outdoors. Everybody does such and such outdoors. Just come up with something different, something a little bit more original. I mean, I would say probably just use their name.
Do you have an opinion?
That's a tough one. Whatever I would do now that I've gone through it and I have different verbiage and things. I don't have different. I have Podium Archer and MFJJ. Yeah. Ideally, you'd want it to be one.
You got Josh Jones too.
I do. Right?
Yeah, it's all on Facebook.
I know that's what it says because it's verified and it's stuck. You can't change it. Ideally, yes, pick one and set everything up that way because you're building a brand if you want to look at it that way. And as much as I've heard it a lot and been told it a lot, I don't necessarily think that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think we're building a brand. We're building a business.
Yeah. You are both building brands. Because
I understand that's just the philosophy of what you see. I see it as building a business.
I think that everybody's
because I'm not an influencer. I'm a businessman.
Because in the end, it doesn't matter what name he uses. They're all going to podiumarchery.com. Doesn't matter what name I use. They're all going to Feathers and Antlers Outdoors.
See, but even you just said podiumarchery.com.
So don't do that.
Well, no, but you just said Podium Archery, and it's not Podium Archery. It's Podium Archer, and that's why it's confusing. Because if it was
somebody owned archery, I couldn't buy it.
If it was joshjones.com or mfjj.com, like that's just I think about this because I think that if somebody is starting a business inside the hunting industry, or if somebody is trying to do whatever, if they're just trying to share their journey inside of there, I think that being consistent is super important, and I think you should just use your name.
I agree.
That's what I think. I think you should just use your name.
Clearly you do, because you're
Brandon McDonald Archery. You know why? Because when people meet me, they go, Brandon McDonald.
Yeah.
They don't go, Podium Joe MF.
I get MFJJ 99% of the time.
I know. My mother even calls you MFJJ. Or the Mohawk Man.
Yeah. The Mohawk Man.
Got that.
Yeah.
Got that
but that's a part of your branding, too.
That is. You can't change it.
For sure.
Pray to God my hair doesn't fall out.
You're going to be an old-ass man with a mohawk. I'm so excited about it. The beard just white.
Oh, yeah. Well, did you see the Christmas one I did?
Yes.
Yeah. I got white hair color shut.
Uh-huh. Sprayer in there.
White mohawk, the whole bit. I've got that picture somewhere. It looks great. I could totally see that. It's
dude, man, for sure.
If I had more wrinkles, I'd be 80.
I do have a question, and it's a very simple one. Why is it Nashville North Archery and not North Nashville Archery?
It's just what I said.
I'll tell you one reason why.
Because I've screwed it up a lot on accident.
North Nashville is still kind of the ghetto. So North Nashville, if you're a Nashville native, you put a shop in North Nashville? Now, it's been gentrifying for the last 10 years. But if he would have said, I want to call it North Nashville Archery, I would have been like, let's maybe err away from that. Because I think most people in Middle Tennessee, if they have any interaction with Nashville, know. Like, it's still getting there. There's going to be a bunch of comments.
I think it rolls off the tongue better, personally.
I'm struggling with it. Because, nobody says, Nashville North. They say, where are you from? North Nashville. North Georgia. But
because technically it's not where we are. We're not in Nashville. So it's called something different. We're actually in Ashland City. It's only 20 minutes from downtown Nashville.
Oh, there's so many.
And we're
arguments
northwest of Nashville.
This. Oh, God.
Well, this is another interesting branding thing. Like if the store was just MFJJ South, and then Spokane Valley was MFJJ North,
East and West would make more sense.
We're in the South. See, this is just all these semantic things. But the bottom line of all this, and I don't even think this is that interesting of a conversation.
It's really not. I'm sorry for bringing it up.
It's fine. Well, I just don't think the people that are listening are like, yeah. But I do think that anybody who's actually interested in building something, they need to think about this stuff on the front end, because it's a regret of people that have gone a lot deeper down the content hole, that you go, shit, I'm building multiple things at once. And I wish I wasn't doing that. I wish I had some brand consistency.
I don't disagree, but I would have really struggled with opening this store and not calling it Nashville something. So people who heard the name went, okay, that's where it is.
Yeah.
Makes
Right.
you,
If I called a Podium Archer East or something, you have no idea where it is.
makes you more Googleable too.
Exactly. That's why my other shop's called Spokane Valley Archery.
Yeah.
It's
I do
where it
think
is and what you have.
Naming a shop where you are.
Yeah.
Or naming a
Even if you have to do that for a while and want to change it later or something like that, at least once you feel like you've maybe maxed out your populace and anyone that's anywhere in a reasonable distance to you knows where it is, then maybe.
Sure.
But pre to that, I'd want it to identify that.
I used to love the name of our shop until I got an email address.
Oh yeah. And you're having to spell it for people.
Scotty.evans@feathersandantlersoutdoors.com. I hate it when people say, "What's your email?" I'm like, "Can you text me?"
Right? Yeah. That would be the one plus if I ever took the domain that I own and changed it all over, because I own mfjj.com.
would be very easy.
I'd buy it, but I own it.
Dude, just some straight up swag.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what I was leaning towards, or just all the products that I personally make.
Hats with the slit cut out right here.
Right?
Have they been
hoodies
mowing the
with a cut in
lawn
them.
for 4
Yeah.
hours? By the
No,
way,
I thought they just started that recently. Like that was
I feel
not
like
when
I've
we
just
started.
been listening to the
And
lawn.
it hasn't been
being-
4 hours. It's been a little over an hour, I think.
Okay, all right,
know.
okay. Maybe I'm
Pretty
being
sure.
sarcastic. Okay, I have a question.
An hour and 11 minutes.
I have a
can
question.
see that far away. It's when it's closer. I can't see very well.
Oh,
I can
yeah,
see it now,
I
too.
can see it too.
It's on top.
Well, something spicy.
What are you shooting? So you're shooting
Yes,
prime bow.
most of the time. Most of the time.
What else? Okay,
If
give me.
he's not making a video, it's a prime.
So I did shoot 9 deer with six different bows and I think 7 or 8 different broadheads last year.
Nice. What's your choice right now? Like when you go pick up a bow that you're like, this is the bow I want to shoot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
prime 34, form 34.
Yep. Okay. What arrows?
Just switched over to the Victory HLRs, which is the first non-4mm arrow I've shot in a hot minute, honestly. Just because it's something a little bit different. I like the light GPI. I like the fact that it comes with a stainless steel half out. I like using what I'm gonna sell out of the box. It makes it a whole lot easier to sell.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about it a little while ago. I'm gonna be giving Josh money apparently. A lot of people like to build up their componentry on the front end for bigger game, titanium components and all that good jazz, which we do have that customer base. But, when the guy comes in, says, hey, got $120, $130 to spend on some high premium arrows. Well, I'm shooting these. I've had really good luck. Why don't you try them? And 9 times out of 10, if I'm going to recommend something, there's a reason for it. Because I'm too easy to find.
Right. Well, and even if you want to look at like the 5.0 and the HLR, because those are the 2 new ones this year, right? Or pretty much. They're very similar products, but one comes with an insert that you wouldn't just throw away. And the other one, maybe not so much.
Have you noticed something different recently about Easton 5mm arrows?
Like what?
Like what they're not coming with?
They're not coming with components?
Not coming with epoxy anymore.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, they're not doing hits. So hits came with epoxy. Oh, you're talking the others. I thought you were talking 5.0s. 5.0s don't come with hits.
They don't come with hits?
Oh, we order
Yeah, they
them.
do.
The matches don't if you order them that way. So, but yeah, they're not coming with epoxy at all. But I think that probably has something to do with that the package is leaking frequently, or they're just being cheap. They don't come with the applicator.
But they may.
Do they still come with the applicator?
It may have
though?
gone crazy. The
They come
prices.
with a plunger and that's it.
Plunger, and that's it.
Yep.
Huh.
So
Interesting.
JB Weld it is for Scotty.
So
Interesting.
Okay, so have you picked a broadhead for this year?
Oh no. Well, I mean, I'm gonna.
You're a pretty big Sever fan, right?
Sever is quickly becoming one of my favorites. Which I'm typically not. Well, I guess it's technically a 4-blade, but I've always been a G5 Mega Me guy. But I do like how tough the Severs are. I shot everything last year. I'm gonna use more fixed heads this year. A lot of people wanted me to shoot more stuff with fixed heads. I'm like, why? I'm shooting 99-pound Georgia deer, but whatever.
Okay, but why are people wanting you to shoot a fixed head? They just want you to shoot some variety, or
because they're overcompensating for a very small animal that they don't need to use a fixed head for.
no? You should have been here for the conversation that we had last time.
Very much so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you feel the Ranch Ferry heat down there in Georgia, huh?
No.
The Ashby heat.
So I politely explain to people when they say, "Hey, I want a 500 grain arrow," and they're shorter than me. I'm like, why? I wholeheartedly mean, why are you going elk hunting? Are you going after Cape Buffalo?
Yeah. More information, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm just going to go shoot a basket rack, 6 or something. I'm like, well, why? Like, oh, Ranch Fairy says. I'm like, well, I mean, I'll build you whatever you want because it's going to be more expensive than, a couple of Black Eagle Rampages that are going to weigh 420 grains, roughly, 450 grains. They're going to do just as good of a job. I mean, as far as the heavy arrow, I believe there are plenty of animals and scenarios out there for a heavy arrow build. And when I say heavy arrow build, I don't mean the total weight of the arrow in general. I mean a specific amount of grainage in the front of the arrow. What a lot of people don't realize is they think, okay, if I'm going to get 18% FOC, I got to be 600 grains. That's not necessarily true. It's a percentage. It's not a total arrow weight. You can get 18% FOC and be sub 500 grains easily, especially with HLRs, the 5.0s, X impacts from Black Eagle.
XVs.
Yeah, Rip XVs. That was not a very well-known arrow.
I've been using that arrow for 10 years.
Thanks for making a video.
Yeah.
Golly. I'm shooting those for TAC next year, I think.
Are they great?
Yeah.
That's what I've used them forever.
Yeah.
I'll shoot smaller big game with them. I won't shoot big game with them typically, but smaller big game, sure.
But to answer your question, I mean, yeah, I don't really buy into you need to be over 550 grains to kill every animal in North America. I don't know. It's false.
But I mean, so you're giving pushback to people, but you're literally like, are you doing it to try to just, hey, this is my philosophy? You're leaving money on the table in theory because they're coming in saying, build me something with, in theory, 100 grain half out, and I want to custom order a couple of whatever, 150, 200 grain broadheads, and you're saying, meh.
I'm not saying meh. I'm saying, okay, well, if that's what you're going to do, let me make this suggestion, and here's why. Because now you're limiting your distance per shot. The heavier that arrow is, the more it's going to drop. The more likely that animal is going to duck your arrow, the more likely you're going to miss. And once again, when you're talking about a whitetail, almost unarguably one of the easiest animals to dispatch, yes, getting them 20 yards broadside is the tricky part. But they have very fine hair, very thin skin. Their vitals are relatively big. And if you're like, ooh, hey, how's mom and them? If you're my specs, 29-inch draw, 70 pounds, and you run a rear deployed 2-inch broadhead, or it doesn't even have to be that one, you're giving yourself so much more of an advantage speed-wise, kinetic energy-wise for that particular animal. Now, if somebody says, Scotty, I'm going to go shoot a zebra or something, no, that was terrible.
A terrible example.
Yeah, I don't know
No,
why.
Rhino, elephant.
Yeah, I don't know why I saw racing stripes. I was like,
Zebra's not a terrible example. It's a heavier animal than a white-tailed deer by about 6x.
yeah, but I can hear
depends on
some
whose
people
white-tailed deer
already
you're talking about.
Yeah. So let's say a Cape Buffalo.
There you go.
Yeah.
Example that's always used for the heavier
Yeah,
argument.
that's the problem. Is I feel like it goes from killing white-tailed deer to killing a Cape buffalo. Like there's a whole bunch of in between.
Say that again.
There's a whole bunch of in between the whitetail and the Cape buffalo.
Oh yeah.
But that's what. I'm not trying to just stir the shit. I'm always curious to talk to people about that are in the industry about this because your response is almost exactly the same as his response. Like you guys have, guys have the same bullet points of why you wouldn't do it, and that's what I've consistently found out of like the vast majority of people that are shooting 450 grains or less.
And what does Scott do for a living? Deal directly with customers that shoot animals. Correct?
Correct.
Same thing I do for a living. It's amazing that you would come up with the same exact conclusion.
And the interesting thing is, you guys could make more money
100%.
selling stuff that had
That is
more
not something
components
I would do or he would do, though.
Or we could set them up for more success so they come back and spend more money.
Okay, so what you're seeing is long-term money, not short-term money.
Duh.
See, I like to fleece them. I like to fleece them right there. Get all of it off the first time.
We're not exactly day traders over here. How much Bitcoin did you buy this morning?
I need people to come back.
Yeah, 100%.
Period. I do. So I'm not going to give them what I consider bad information.
Yeah.
Or bad advice. Even if it makes me more money, I'm not going to do it. Which that was a hard arguing sticking point with my dad when he owned everything. He'd get so mad that I wouldn't sell what he wanted to sell. I was like, I don't believe in that more than that, and my integrity will not let me push that. If somebody wants to buy it, I will not tell them not to. But I am not going to go over and tell them that that's better than that just because you make more money on it. I refuse.
You have two scenarios. You have the customer that comes in the store, knows exactly what he wants, and he takes it to the register and buys it. You're not going to say anything to them.
Do not interrupt him. Let him
Then
do
you're
what he
going to have
wants.
the customer says, hey, I've been thinking about purchasing this product. What do you think? What's your experience? That's when our reputation's on the line because, number one, I don't know where he lives. He knows where I go to work. He can come find me if he's not happy with what I sold him, and he can make a big stink about it. And I don't want that. When a customer walks in, I want to see them smiling. And it ain't because of my pretty face. It's because they had a successful hunt. They took my word for it, and it worked based off our experience.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which
Makes
is
sense.
which is the right way to do business.
I agree.
100%.
That's why we've been around for 10 years.
Yeah.
All right.
And you've been around for 30 years.
35? Yeah,
Oof.
I started when I was very
He's been
little.
in business
Yeah, you were like
longer
11.
than I've been alive, people.
Something like that.
Well, you were like a child running around the shop.
I was a archery expert, 11 years old. You should watch a grown ass man look at an
I would
11-year-old
be
and
so
try to listen.
mad. I would live. I was like,
No,
all right,
dude,
what do
you
you
should
think
have seen the
about
first time that
70-pound bows, little kid? I would be so mad.
You know what you ought to do? You ought to fly Bodie out here. Put him behind the counter.
It would be interesting to see if people start asking for feedback.
Because
and then-
how old is he?
18.
Did I say that right? Bodie or Brody?
It's Bodie.
It is Bodie. I said
is
it right.
Bodie.
He's 18?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he looks like he's 15.
He
Kind
does.
of.
Stick him behind that counter. Mm-hmm. Even dress him up in some weird, put some weird overalls or something on him. Like make him walk around barefoot. Tell me, and I will come back out here. Me and him will be hiding in the bushes with cameras, and we'll mic him up.
Watch how many people treat him like he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yep.
Yep.
That would be
Oh,
hilarious.
believe me, I'm very aware of it. And to boot, he's not tall too, so you can get away with. You look older sometimes by being tall. Even if you have a younger face, you can kind of get away with it a little more.
Yeah, what's his name that works here now? The young guy. He's tall as crap.
Yeah, and you can get. They don't necessarily treat you the same. But if you're short and young, oh, that's tough.
I've got a 3-year-old nephew, and he is about as redneck as cornbread, and he is all about hunting, all about the outdoors, and I cannot wait till he gets a little bit older, and I'm going to fill his head with as much knowledge as he wants to soak up. I'm not going to abuse him with it, but basically what we're talking about, that's what I want to do with him. Like what you said, 11-year-old behind the counter can barely see above it.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do with my little
That's
nephew.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
It's cool. It's cool to see the original reaction of the person when they start having that conversation.
Yep.
And then it's so cool to watch them an hour later just be completely blown away.
Yep.
Because none of this is complicated or hard. You just have to have a desire to learn and the ability to digest what you're given.
Yep. And you have to have the motivation to do your own research or, like me, trial and error, hence precision cut.
Correct.
Yep.
30 arrows into the dirt.
Well, and I did learn very well now. If Scotty says, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, I probably ought to ask more questions.
If I say,
Okay, walk me through
If I
this.
say it, just know it's not something that I've been struggling with for 30 minutes. This has been a 2-week ordeal.
was that during a live or something like that? That we did? I think that's when you said it to me because I would have engaged back in that.
I think it was the night. No, you were a little kid in the candy store, and I was not about to ruin your night. It was when we had Travis T-Bone in there.
Yeah.
And you two were going at, and it was when I fell out of the chair, and I found out why I fell out of that damn chair. I am not a drunk. It was missing a leg. One of my roller legs had fallen off. Yeah, you should have saw that, Brandon.
No, I did watch it.
Yeah.
That
You
was
did?
literally the only TikTok I've watched in forever was when you guys were on your TikTok live with T-Bone.
Which is very good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was great.
it was
very
awesome watching y'all talk and go back and forth. That's why I was just sitting there like, this is nice. Nobody's asking me questions.
Speaking
Finally,
of
I
questions,
can just enjoy it.
speaking of questions, let's finish up your bow setup. What are
Oh,
you
I'm sorry.
using for a sight? No, it's fine. This is what we do here. We tangent AF.
Tangent horribly.
Yep. So I am using currently a dial proof, the white one. I'm
Oh, the
spoiled.
white one.
Yeah. And I didn't tell you this. You're gonna hate this because you're bougie. My bow, there's only one of them.
Why? How?
What?
What did they
How-
give
what?
you?
I don't-
Is it a custom color or what did they do to
Yeah,
it?
It's a custom color.
Engraving?
Well, no,
Dude, that's what I wanted. I want somebody who's good at engraving to come engrave my bow.
You are not touching my riser with a Dremel. So no, it's. I say it's a custom color. They didn't offer the color this year. So ever since they came out with Prism, have you ever seen their Prism?
I don't remember offhand. I'd have to look.
It's real glittery. Have you seen Hoyt's Skeeter?
Yep.
It's like that, but not quite as glittery.
Okay.
They offered it for like 3 years, and I always got that riser with white limbs. Well, this year when they came out with the Form, they did away with the Prism, and I just made a request. I didn't throw a fit, which I probably would have if they said no. I said, "Can I have just one?"
Did they paint the carbon sticks?
No.
Just the metal.
Yeah, no. You'll see it here in a little while.
I
but,
wanted them to paint the carbon sticks since they look like.
I see a lot of people taking. Hi. Yeah, the white dial proof 10,000ths pin.
What they have different. So it's the single.
No,
single pin.
It's the 3-pin vertical.
3-pin vertical. Okay.
Yep.
All right, but it's the fixed one.
Yeah, that's definitely not
so
for me
it's
then.
the
Sorry about that.
because you can't adjust them. It's not like the triple stack.
Correct.
It's just 3 pins. Okay.
Yep.
When you got that done, do you remember what your yardages were? If your top pin's at 20, what's your middle pin at?
Right now,
Yeah.
I have to go look. I forgot. I think it's 34 yards.
Okay.
Maybe 36, somewhere in there.
So then your bottom pin's probably around 50.
I haven't even shot that one yet.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And I probably won't for hunting.
No, probably not. I mean, unless you're going to do something out west, going mule deer,
Yeah.
elk, or something like that, then you would.
Yep.
But not for.
And then for an arrow rest, I got the Hamsky Hybrid Hunter Pro, some threads, custom bowstrings,
I think we need an explanation why you're using a Hybrid Hunter Pro.
because it was on my workbench.
Okay.
That's it. You're wondering why I'm not using a Epsilon.
Epsilon V2. Just out of curiosity, is there something you didn't like about it, or you just didn't? You they said there was nothing wrong with what you had.
Nothing
Is it
wrong
not
with what I-
micro adjust? I don't know much about that one.
It's an
compared
older
to the-
version, is all.
Yeah.
It's
It's
a
micro
little. It's a
adjusted.
little bigger. It's a little beefier.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have containment around the bottom because the Hybrid Hunter's just got a dowel.
Okay.
It's just the one I've had for.
Nothing wrong with it.
I still keep
Nothing wrong
using
with
my
it, it's just
Trinities,
older.
and they're monsters.
Well, it's
The
like your
Trinity's bigger than what I got.
Yeah,
It's like
they're
your
huge.
Trinity without the little aluminum that goes underneath and attaches to the other side. Like cut that off.
yeah.
Hybrid
Okay.
Hunter.
All right.
No, a lot of people ask
Also
me that.
old.
but yeah.
Rest.
Yeah. Still shoots really good.
I understand that,
It's a
but
testament
don't you
to
sell
himself.
product for a living?
Yeah.
Pretty sure. if you-
Nobody ever asks about my rest.
No.
No. They want to know arrows, release, and how would I get that color.
Okay. What are you doing for a peep?
Oh, they ask about your site. Don't tell me they don't.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Of
I
course.
guarantee
Yeah.
they
Of
do.
course.
They do.
ask
I
about
forgot
us.
about
Why? Now, why is it? That's the interesting thing because I also get the same thing. It's not very often someone asks what arrow rush you're using. Is why is that so like not exciting? And sites are because everybody asks what site you're using.
Because a site is something a consumer typically has to do by themselves, and they're always looking for the easiest one to sight in. And an arrow rest is something we put on for them that they don't typically have
That
to
is
touch.
an interesting conclusion. I actually didn't think about it that way.
Yep.
I would agree with that though. that she says
Visually,
that,
though,
yeah.
the sight can look like it changes the look of the bow as well. So, like the dial, that's one of the reasons I think they sell so well. Is it's super cool looking.
Yeah, but the arrow rest controls how straight the arrow leaves, so you would think
I know,
it would be
but I don't
relatively
think that there's a
important in
lot
the
of
thought
people that
process.
think that there's variation in whatever. Whenever this one lets go of the arrow versus this one, like why is a QAD worse than a Hamsky?
That was always what I told the customers. Probably the most important thing he was going to buy. If you're going to skimp on money, don't skimp there
Yep.
because your arrow has to fly straight and not have contact.
Yeah, but it's
Work
not
right.
sexy. Like,
Of course, it's not.
I would not be excited about that. I would
it's not.
literally the first, I would want to put a whisker biscuit on because I'd want to spend my money on something else if I were new.
Yeah, you've probably bought like 7 sites since you bought that rest.
I'm me now. I'm talking about me when I started, when I
Well,
didn't.
but you're using a rest that's multiple years old.
No, because I'm using the
A
Hamsky
Trinity
V2.
came out. A Trinity came out like 5 years ago.
I'm using a Trinity on other bows, though. That's what I'm saying. I keep transferring it forward, but I'm not using it on the Title, and I didn't use it on the Virtue. So, like, when I get a brand new bow, I'm putting brand new stuff on it. But, like,
Got it.
I'll keep moving my Trinities around on my older, whatever. Like, I just set up Ventum Pro
Mm-hmm.
because I know that somebody's going to want to borrow a bow this year, so I'll let them have the Ventum Pro with the Trinity.
That's
Fair.
a great bow.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love
It
it.
is.
I like the Venom Pro a lot.
Yeah.
It's a good product.
Yeah. Okay. Peep. I know this is boring, but I'm curious about this, and I want your opinion too, because we're about to change the peep in my title.
Mm-hmm.
Are you always just putting on like donut peeps? Use the Raptor peep. You use like what do you do for peeps?
So for TAC, I was running a $6.50 3/32 True Peep from Bear Archery
It's just like a
because it's a super small housing. I couldn't even see my bubble. And it's a super.
what did
small
you say
peep,
the dimension was?
3/32.
Yeah, it's tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super tiny.
Yep. So for shooting long distance, I really like that because it helps clarify my picture out to that distance.
But
And
you said you couldn't see your level?
yeah, can't see my bubble. So when I would, any archery coaches are gonna hate this. So when I come to full draw, before I settle in, I look at where my bubble is. I level it, and then I settle in, and then I don't see it. I go straight down, and hope for the best.
How do
Interesting.
you do it? how do you do it long distance? Like if you're at 70, 80, 90, 100 yards, you feel
Seem
like
to
you
do
have a lot
okay
of
when I
left to
watch them
right?
shoot.
60's my 20. I shoot long distance a lot because and then not to show off or to be Mr. Billy Badass, because it's fun.
It
Yeah,
is
it is
100%.
fun.
I hate
Long
shooting
distance
out.
is so much fun. I agree.
If you
All
ever
I do is shoot long.
come out to my cabin and see my personal range, it's on my porch. There's always at least one target at 100 yards.
Yeah. Now, I've watched a few of your videos, and
Yeah.
for sure you're always.
Most of my actual shooting is done at my cousin's house, and I start at 150.
Did you shoot at 200 yards once upon a time?
Yeah. 3-shot group and a 10-inch cube.
With fletching clearance on your
Yeah.
scope?
Yeah.
Bullshit.
100%.
How? Teach
Well,
me
I
your
got a long
ways.
draw length, really light arrow, a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Used a bit of an overdraw bracket, so my arrow was really, really short. My arrow was less than 350 grains. And I was using a dual track. I was using the second pin pushed down as far as it can go. I used
Okay.
a nose button with a large nose button because it would force your head to sit up higher. And I have a relatively long face, so my anchor's
okay.
to where I can pull it off.
Okay,
But he's
makes
shot
sense.
200 with a pin too. Yeah.
Yep.
But
With the,
he has a longer face structure.
do I have a long face? This is a weird
do.
thing that he knows.
You do. So
But-
where your eye is and where
You
your
actually
anchor
do.
point is. You
yeah.
do.
So you're,
You have a
so
long
you
face.
probably have a
Horse face.
No, horse
7
face would be this way.
So what's your peep height?
I think I'm 6 5/8.
I was gonna say somewhere around 7 or a little less.
But I think that 6 5/8 feels super tight and squished at 20. Like,
At
you know,
20
when I'm
yards?
shooting,
Yeah,
yeah,
as he
when I'm
rolls
shooting
it
at
down.
20,
Oh, okay,
yeah,
I
when I'm
gotcha,
shooting
okay.
at 20 yards, it feels squinchy.
Yeah.
So like if I were just shooting for whitetail, I'd move my pin up to, or I'd move my peep up to probably 6 7/8 and feel really comfortable in the anchor, and it makes my draw feel longer. So like when that peep gets
That's why when
moved
you
up,
said you were 29 and a half inch draw, I was like, how? Because you're 6'2",
3,
6'3"?
But it's weird,
That's not
man.
normal people.
I'm 6'5". I'm a 30. It's just your shoulder width and your
Yeah.
arm length. It's
But
not.
we-
It's not how tall you are.
We measured me out, and it was I was 30 by the measurements, but I don't shoot 30 as well as I shoot
You have to
29 and a
compensate
half.
the half inch for the loop.
And I-
measure 30 and a half, and I mostly shoot 30 to 30 and a quarter.
And I agree 100%. But a lot of times, typically wingspan, that's a good question. A lot of times I'll take wingspan divided by 2.5,
Yep.
and it gets me really close,
Really
if
close.
not dead up. But you have to make sure that person,
Is actually stretched correctly.
yeah, not doing this, not arms bowed in and bowed out. Back to the peep question. I am running it's a Hamsky Raptor.
Raptor.
I can't remember what damn size it
The
is. now.
size doesn't really matter. I'm just curious
I
about like
agree.
the site picture.
On what site?
No. The size
site is it
does.
that you're using?
My proof.
On your proof, I bet you're using 3/16 to a bigger,
I think it's one size smaller.
7/1 smaller, 532.
I was gonna say 532. I think that's correct.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
And I want to take mine down on the title
Okay.
for the UV.
And that one I can see the bubble on.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So
I'm
interesting
always
when you're
just-
shooting long distance, you don't care about seeing the bubble, but when you're hunting, you do.
Well, you're in a stand, you're always shooting downhill.
Sure.
But I will have to say, and I know why you're grinning, talking about attack events, you're always shooting uphill or downhill. And it's not that I don't care about the bubble, it's that I care about the arrow hitting the target more than I do hitting the 12
That's
ring.
fair. That's fair.
So when I'm shooting, if I'm going to miss, it's typically going to be left or right because I can't see my bubble.
And in all honesty, and it's interesting that that's something that you do today with the site, with the type of sites that we have. But a lot of the old school guys that I've known, because I've been building bows since like 1990, right, or earlier.
Yeah.
Sites didn't used to be round; they were
Yep,
squared,
they're square.
and everybody shot
Yeah.
a small peep, centered the pin.
They didn't care.
and
They didn't use the housing
looked
as
at
a
the bubble,
reference.
Looked at the bubble, then ignored it, put a pin on, finished their shot sequence. And there's several people that I know today that are very good that still do that same thing. They
One of the
shoot a
guys in
small
the
peep.
shop uses a small peep, and he
Yeah.
doesn't see his housing.
Yeah,
and it's the
just looks
same
at the
thing.
pin.
He said that his anchor point is his reference. Like he's like the anchor. I'm paying attention where my hand is. I'm paying attention where my nose is, where the peep is, and then that pin right in the center. And I just let it float there.
What would be interesting about that, like if you open both of your eyes when you do that, can you does your peripheral still see the level?
Both my eyes
could
are
you
open.
can you like
Oh,
fuzzily
you can
see it?
probably, yeah. You
Well, I say they're open. My left eye is squinted.
Squinted,
But
yes.
it's squinted, so if you don't, you will be able to physically see it, and the only time I can really notice is when I go back and look at the footage. But my left eye is like barely open. What,
Yeah,
what were we gonna ask?
mine too. Well, what I was getting at is when you shoot that way, because I can always see my bubble. Can you still see your bubble? Kind of. Like when you're pointing down there and you're looking at the pin and the peep, right? With your other eye open a little bit, do you still kind of fuzzily see it? Like if it was pegged one way or the other, would you notice?
You know, I really don't know. I've never tried that.
Now you're gonna check.
Yeah.
I bet you can.
I bet you I'm about to try it here in about 30 minutes.
Yeah, I bet you still can.
But it's gonna throw you off for the first few shots because you're gonna be fluttering those eyes and be like,
what's interesting about what's interesting about it is you might really be onto something, because if you can still see that, if you can legit really still see it, because you're really only setting your bubble and then your peripheral's just checking it. You're not like going up and down. That might, for longer target stuff, that might actually be really smart. That's part of why I use a really small housing. Yeah, is because I want it small, but I still want to see my bubble.
Now that you say that, I'm going through my shot process. I might be using my, so when we were talking about the smaller peep, I might be using that before I settle in. I might be using my left eye to check, oh, looks good. We're going to roll with it.
I bet you can still see it.
I bet you, even if you, like, I bet you the variation in your shot, when you draw, if you're referencing it and then you come to anchor, it's not like you're coming to anchor and then going, bleh,
no.
You know, so like you're probably still within the lines at that distance is my guess. Well, yeah, we find out. That's very interesting.
Love tinkering.
Love it.
That's what we're here for.
It's good times.
I feel like the last 10 minutes of this conversation has been really good.
Okay, that was not, you can cut that out.
Bro, did you used to be a little puffier? Did you used to be a little heavier?
Yes, I was 198 in January.
What are you now?
181.
Okay.
You've lost weight too.
Not really. From a long time ago.
From a long time ago.
From a long time ago.
Have.
I honestly, in the last 6 months, I've gained weight because traveling sucks ass to try to stay skinny.
100%.
I'm on the downturn right now, so I'll try to get back down to the fighting weight that I was.
Anyway,
but yeah, I was heavier at one point.
Sorry, that was not nearly as entertaining as what
I know. I was hoping to.
I was. It was.
No, I was
if it
excited.
comes back up again, I'll send a screenshot to y'all.
That'd be great.
Do it. I'll put it in the video.
Botalk on TikTok, Bowboy on Instagram, Scot Evans on Facebook, Bowboy on YouTube, and then Feathers and Antlers Outdoors is where we're at in Commerce, Georgia, and that's really about it. And if you did stay this long, me and Josh were talking about it. There is now a buy one, get one on Easton 5.0s on podiumarchery.com. So
that's right. Go to Podium Archery.
The number of comments at the bottom. Hey,
I'm just kidding.
Where'd that go?
I'm just kidding. For everybody that stayed, I'm just kidding.
Let's see. Follow me at Brandon_McDonald_archery on Instagram. Follow Josh at Podium Archer on Instagram. Like and subscribe to this. This podcast will be available on all the platforms. What's the thing that you say about all the audio platforms?
Please leave a review on the audio platforms. It really helps a lot. It's about the only way to track whether or not people are really watching to the public. We can see our analytics, but the public really can't. So if you like this or you enjoy this or you want to see more of this, please leave a review. I would appreciate it. Any audio platform, most of them have the option.
I'm going to cut that in to a much earlier portion of the video.
That's probably
so that
wise,
it's
sir.
not waiting all the way to the end.
That's a smart move.
Let's go shoot some bows. I got to make sure my wife's not mad at me for being out this long.
Oh, she probably already is.
You want me to talk to her? I'm really good at this.
Yeah, from the story I've heard.
That's awesome. You want me to talk to her?